Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, homeopathic teachers, homeopathic practitioners, homeopathic students who are listening me after a gap of a day in last 60 days. I missed you a lot yesterday because I was not there for the lecture. I went to Ahmednagar for certain purpose and it was not possible. But number of students, number of practitioners, they messaged me, sir, whether you don't have a session today. It itself suggests that something has been created in your mind. You are listening with interest about the homeopathy since this lockdown period. And in fact, this is the good work done through me by a great God, and because of which a number of practitioners, number of students who have are getting an interest in the field of homeopathy. Number of practitioners asked me about their regular problems in day-to-day practice. Number of students have asked regarding their problems during these sessions. They contacted me personally. Some practitioners who are practicing but not getting a sufficient mm, uh, amount or they asked me, sir, how to go ahead. Number of things it has been discussed during those 60 days. Today I have considered that it's better that we have done a lot of work on biochemic system of medicines. In fact, number of practitioners started following the biochemic medicines in their practice, as well as some of the students, they have asked me for the biochemic medicines. It means that you have definitely understood much more regarding the biochemic medicines. But still, there were few questions in students' mind or practitioners' mind, and that's why today's session I have kept for that purpose. And there are number of questions have been asked by number of students regarding this biochemic practice or biochemic remedy. There was a first question. It was asked if the patient is suffering from migraine, constipation, renal calculi, left knee joint pains, left heel left heel pains, prolapse uterus, burning frequent micturition. How could handle the case with biochemics along with constitutional dose? Basically, you have to understand why these problems are there in the patient. Yes, ultimately you have to deal with the patient. You have to understand the details. You have to take the case as we used to take whenever any chronic case comes to us. You have to find it out a totality. Yes, all those things are necessary. But here you have to think what are the patient's pathologies. You come to the conclusion of a constitutional remedy, you can come to the conclusion of a miasmatic remedy on the basis of a totality of the symptoms. Ultimately, you have to apply the law of similars over there, and you have to follow the law of similars in order to find it out whatever may be the constitutional or anti-miasmatic remedy that will be there. But if you are thinking about all those pathologies, you have to think what are the pathologies first. If you are considering the migraine problem is there, so migraine problem generally happens to be there because of some neuropathies, neurological problem, which is the medicine having a specific action on the nerves. All FOS group basically have a very characteristic effect on the nerves. If you consider MACPHOS, neuralgia is very characteristic. Caliphosphoricum, the neuralgia is very characteristic. You have to think about each pathology. Consider the constipation, how this constipation develops, which are the remedies which are responsible to produce the constipation. You have to understand all those pathologies one by one, and then understanding that you find it out what may be the possible remedies, and accordingly you find it out a combination which covers all those things together. So which is that combination which will consider in such types of in such types of pathologies coming together in the patient. So you might require the Calcarea fluor, you might require the Calcarea phos, or you might require the Kali phosphoricum, you might require the Mac phos in such types of cases. So which is that remedy which covers all those pathologies in together and all those inorganic salts together. So accordingly, when you start thinking about these combinations, then automatically you will understand the remedy for that purpose. It is not fixed. I am not telling you yes this is the fixed, but you have to think according to the pathology. So you might require all those inorganic salts in order to tackle these conditions, because rheumatism is also there, left knee joint pain. Why that left knee joint pains is there, that also you have to find it out, whether it is degenerative, whether it is rheumatic, whether it is gouty. So according to it, you have to consider the remedy. So it is not directly that every time it is a Calcarea fluor. Calcarea fluor will plays very vital role in osteoarthritis or degenerative arthritis. Cal- Natrum sulfuricum plays very vital role in the rheumatisms, specifically rheumatoid arthritis. Gouty arthritis is also covered under natrum phos as well as natrum sulfuricum. So you have to consider what exactly pathology is there and what type of it is presenting. So you have to consider about the inorganic salt and then find it out a combination in which all those salts are present. So for example, we have already discussed the biocombination number 26. What it contains? It contains the Calcarea fluor along with Calcarea phos, along with the Mac phos, along with the Kali phos. So it covers whole pathology and can be used in such types of cases. So you have to consider each pathology and reason behind that pathology, so that you can think about the salts, and then if you want to get it in together, you have to learn the biocombinations. And that's why understanding the biocombination gives you a lot. It is not that you first is anemia, should be given for anemia. It is not like that. What is there in the anemia? What are the ingredients which are present in first number? It is Calcarea phos should be there. We have learned the pathophysiology of every remedy. We have learned that ferrum phos takes part in the formation of a hemoglobin molecule. Natrum more takes part in the hemoglobin molecule. Calcarea phos plays a very vital role in the formation of a hemoglobin molecule. One more salt which is there is the Kali phosphoricum, and you will find that it contains the same combination. If you will find it out, the biocombination number 1, just see, this is biocombination number 1, and you see the content. Yes, Calcarea phos, ferrum phos, Kali phos, and natrum mure. Calcarea phos, ferrum phos, Kali phos 3x, and natrum mure 6x. So this is very important to understand when you consider. Now, is it only for anemia? Now see the contents. The first content is over there is the Calcarea phos. Calcarea phos we have learned number of times for number of problems. Calcarea phos is a very good remedy for regenerations, for the growth. Then ferrum phos, we have learned that ferrum phos is hyperemia, congestion, even sometimes paralysis, sometimes leukemia, sometimes first stage of inflammation. Kali phos is good tranquilizer. Natrum mure we have learned, natrum mure in depth we have learned regarding it. It holds the water, and if it is missing, there is lot of oozing from the tissue. So you might get oozing from the nose, oozing from the eyes, lacrimation, or any discharge, diarrhea, watery diarrhea, all those presentations which are quite common with the natrum muriaticum. Now you think a pathology which covers all those things, if a patient comes to you with such a pathology that he is having chronic coryza with recurrent slight fever number of times, it happens again and again. At the same time, that child is not growing properly. So you have to consider all those things, and he is getting disturbed because of that, because he is not having the growth properly. Now, instead of prescribing these four salts separately, you must think about the first biocombination. So that's why you must know each and every biocombination. So number one combination, anemia, right? This is the work you have to do. You write over there the first biocombination number one, label it that anemia is the name. Now you write down the contents and potency in which it is there. So you write down over there that it is contains the calcarea phos, it contains the ferrum phos, it contains the kali phos, and it contains natramor. First three in 3x potency, and last one is the 6x potency. Now you think about it. Now I am teaching you logic. You think about all each ingredients, and now think about the pathologies with which patient can approach to you. So, like this question, if you are considering if patient is coming with all those things, you think properly what may be the different ingredients or inorganic salts you might require while using this condition. If you are able to find it out that, then it's very easy to utilize the biocombination instead of giving a separate inorganic soil. That is the use of giving biocombination, and patient never feels that he is taking too much of medicines. With a single combination you can achieve a lot. So you should not just go on giving all those four different inorganic salt. You give basically biocombination number one, even though named as anemia. It is not for the anemia only. It is logically can be used with number of such types of elements. And this is what we have to learn. So this is logic. And you, unless you use the logic, you cannot use all those combinations. You can think about them and you use. Make a habit of, and for that purpose you have to utilize your knowledge. You have to write down that chart, and you have to go through that chart again and again, so it becomes fixed in your mind. Is it okay? So that is my answer regarding using the biocombination. So we have discussed the first combination. It is not only for anemia, it is for the purpose where the patient comes with different pathologies of a calcarea phos, of a kali phos, of a ferrum phos, along with the natrium muriaticum, and such type of pathology. If it is there with you, you think about this combination. So I think the idea is cleared in your mind now. So what you have to do? You have to work hard to write down all 28 combinations, and write down over there what it contains, in what potency it contains, what is desired potency of the patient. So accordingly you can use all those things in your practice, and that is in fact a art which you have to follow, or which you have to develop. So that was the first question which we have discussed. Second question was that if we give all the salts to the patients, any aggravation or side effects? Basically, why to give salts? If we want to give the salt, there must be some reason. We have learned that Sussler's theory of a concept of a health and concept of a disease and concept of a cure. If a patient comes who is having very typical specific entity, you have to provide that specific salt, because that will going to clear the molecular motion at that specific site. So it is not that, otherwise it's too simple that for every patient you use the biocombination number 28 which contains all 12 inorganic salts in it. A general tonic, it has been mentioned by as a label over there. But this is not the practice. In fact, you have to utilize them according to their requirements, according to their symptoms, according to their pathologies, and then you have to consider what exactly inorganic salt which is missing, or which is having or getting disturbed over there at the level of molecular motion, and that much is sufficient to provide. So giving a 28 number combination is not the solution for each and every case. In fact, if things are normal, you might disturb it. Unless the patient is diseased, you should not give them a medicine. That is first criteria. So if there is no problem at the tissue level of other inorganic salts, and if you are providing them, you disturb the molecular motion. By giving it in more quantity, you can disturb. So basically, this should not be done. You must think regarding the exact requirement, and accordingly you can use. So this is answer of your question, that you should not give such 28 number for every patient. Mm. If we use all patients, whether patient will get any aggravation, maybe it is possibility, because you are giving it semi dynamic doses, so it alters the molecular motion unnecessary. If you are providing anything which is material enough as well as dynamic enough, definitely disturbs the axis, healthy axis, and can produce the problem. So you should not repeat unnecessarily. That is very important thing, one must think about it. Okay. Now, if we give salts to the patient, see what is very important. If we give all salts to the patient, any aggravation or side effects? Yes, that question already discussed. Maximum how many number of salts give to the one patient? It depends what is the requirement of the patient. Generally, it happens that patient might require one or two or three or four maximum, very occasionally five salts at a time, because it is not like that every time he will going to require all the salts. Sometimes it is very specific presentation of a certain medicines, and that's why you might require calcarea fluid. Sometimes you might require calcarea phos as well as calcarea fluid. So accordingly you have to utilize. So it varies, but maximum you may require three or four salts sometimes, or maximum times a single salt also. So it depends, it varies from person to person, it varies from case to case. You cannot define as this is the only thing which will happen. So that is one important thing one must understand. There is one more question: can we give biochemics medicines immediately after the constitutional medicine? Yes, I used to use it in the similar manner. I used to give constitutional remedy, whatever it may be, depending upon the whole case. And according to the case, I find it out the biochemic remedy or biocombination, and I follow it immediately along with the constitutional remedy. So I give few first three doses of a constitutional remedy, followed by whatever may be the biochemics or biocombination I'm using, that I'm giving. You can repeat. It depends upon the pathology. It depends upon the problem. It depends upon the patient. That you have to consider. You have to understand how much repetition should be done, but you can follow it immediately. That is the answer of your question. There was one more question, that uh, describe the repetition in acutes with example. I used to repeat it three or four times a day, whatever may be the acute condition. For example, if a patient comes to you with acute coryza, so this weather nowadays it is completely damp today. Cloudy weather is there in Sangamner, and patient comes to you with a coryza. I look towards, I observe what are the patient's features. If he is indicating typical Rustox, I will going to give him Rustox in high potency, 10 m potency, or generally I used to use 10 m, because he comes in acutes, and I will give one or two doses or three doses of Rustox, immediately followed by a biocombination number 5 if he is coming for the coryza, because biocombination number 5 is indicated for the coryza. It is indicated as a coryza problem. So think logically, what should be there in the biocombination number 5? काय काय असलं पाहिजे बायोकॉम्बिनेशन नंबर 5? Most commonly, what do you think, which is most common ingredient which is there in biocombination number 5, if it is explained for the coryza? First important thing, why a coryza develops? Coryza is a nasal discharge. It is because of congestion inside the nose. So there should be two important salts should be there in your combination, that is the ferrum phosphoricum and kalimuratic. What is third, which should be there, which has nasal discharge? Just now we have discussed. There should be a natrium muraticum, yes, and one more ingredient which covers infective focus inside the nose, and that is the Kali sulfuricum. So it contains four ingredients: the Perum phosphoricum, the Kali miraticum, then the Natrum sulfuricum, and Kali sulfuricum and Natrum miraticum. These are four ingredients which are there along with in the Y combination number 5. So for coryza, you are utilizing this. Even if a patient comes to you with a bronchitis, having a cough with expectoration over there, yellowish expectoration is there, and associated with nasal complaints, you must think about this combination by combination 5. Yes, 6 is for cough, but you have to think according to the contents, not with the name. So you can think about this by combination number 5 in such types of cases 3 times a day or 4 times a day, depending upon the severity of the person. In fact, I have made that labels in my clinic. I have labeled that is सर्दी साठी 444, and people ask me, sir, doctor दोन सर्दीचे डबे दे. People gets a habit of using homeopathic medicines with this approach. I have made certain things for cough remedy by combination number 6 खोकल्यासाठी 444, and people ask, doctor दोन खोकल्याच्या पाहिजे, दोन सर्दीच्या पाहिजे, दोन तापाच्या पाहिजे. They ask you like allopathic medicine, and why not to propagate this homeopathy in the patients? If you propagate homeopathy in the patients in this manner, they start using these salts which are not harmful because they are using it only for acute troubles. They are using for coryza, they are using it for the cough, they are using it for the fever, and they satisfy because they get satisfied because they know that they have taken the medicine for that. That is first thing. Second important thing, they are not taking it in big heavy material doses like allopathy. Whatever they are taking, that is at the level of molecules, so it will not cause any trouble or problem or any harm to the patient. See, all those pros and cons you should not forget, and that's why you must utilize your art, professional art. That is very important. I have made this in my practice, and you will find in my practice, if you sit with me for at least for a week, you will find how many patients ask for all those drugs. They comes to you for chronic ailments and they ask for you, डॉक्टर दोन घसादुखीच्या गोळ्या द्या, दोन सर्दीचे डबे द्या, दोन खोकल्याच्या डब्या द्या. These with डोकदुखीच्या दोन द्या. They comes to you in such manner, and this is what you have to understand. This is what you have to utilize your talent. So if any acute patient comes to you for fever, if you use Y combination 11 for cough, you can use 6 numbers. If it is wet cough, 6 number plays very vital role. So accordingly you have to think, and you can repeat 3 or 4 times a day. So is it clear that you can use or repeat remedies 3 times, 4 times, and you can get a benefit? You automatically, your patients starts understanding that homeopathy works in acute also. Number of patients tells me, डॉक्टर तुम्ही तुमचं किट दिलं ना, त्यामुळे आम्हाला खूप सोपं झालं. नाव all total our family is using the kit. No one goes for taking the paracetamol, crocin or anything else. They immediately, and they ask me, डॉक्टर दाढ दुखती आहे, मी 13 नंबर घेतलं चालेल का? Yes, they understand the things, and this is what you have to create in their mind. For that purpose, utilizing these medicines according to the contents of it and according to their name helps a lot in your practice. Okay. So repetition in acute with example, I think it is sufficient. There is one important question. Homeopathic natrum salp and biochemic natrum salp आपण एकाच वेळी देऊ शकतो का? My question is that when it becomes homeopathic and when it becomes biochemical. If you are using it in centesimal scales, then and you are applying it on the basis of symptom similarity, it becomes homeopathic. When you are applying law of similars, it is homeopathic. When you are applying the concept of pathophysiology, it is biochemical. So If you are considering that natrum sulf is the remedy on the basis of symptom similarity, at the same time you find it out that it is also pathophysiologically natrum sulfuricum, which we have learned previously, that is the pathophysiology of natrum sulfuricum, how it holds the water, removes the water from the intercellular spaces and does the elimination from there. If you understand these things, if you are able to understand these things, then you can apply both remedies. You can give natrum sulfuricum in potency centesimal scale on the basis of symptom similarity, as well as natrum sulf 6x in a decimal scale on the basis of biochemic principles. So these are two different approaches which you have to consider when you are prescribing the remedy. So this is very important that you must understand these things. The homeopathic concept, which is based upon the law of similars, and biochemic concept, which is based upon the deficiency producing the disturbance in molecular motion. So according to the pathophysiology, you have to consider the prescription in case of Schussler's aspect, and with the help of a homeopathic aspect, you have to apply the law of similar. Same remedy can be applied homeopathically as well as biochemically if it has been asked for, or if it has been, if it is a requirement for that. There was one more question. Biochemic medicine, is it safe to give for months? It is safe to give for months depending upon the necessity of the patient. For example, if there is a bony pathology and it requires that strength for at least for a month together, if there is a fractured bone, non-healing fracture, and you are providing calcarea fast to the patient, and you are repeating, if there is cervical spondylosis or lumbar spondylosis with spinal canal stenosis, or there might be a severe osteoarthritis, patient might require it for months together, because bone is the hardest tissue in your body. Remodeling in the bone takes a long period, and for that purpose repetition of these biochemic salts is necessary. Only thing is that whenever you are prescribing, find it out that patient is not completely bedridden, because if patient is bedridden and if you are providing for months together the calcarea phos or calcarea salt generally, it might produce a calculi formation. So these things can be possible if patient is immobile at all. So you have to think about prescribing, for what purpose you are prescribing and what are the patient's elements. So accordingly you can think, accordingly you can prescribe for that. There was one question: if we don't have Natramur 6x in dilution, we give Natramur 6. Can we give Natramur 6x tablet? Will it act biochemically or homeopathically? Basically, when you are giving Natramur 6x, it is a decimal. It is prepared in trituration form. You are not preparing Natramur 6x in dilutions. You are preparing Natramur 6c, that is centesimal in dilutions. So there is a difference in basically in understanding those concepts. You must understand that biochemic medicines are prepared in generally in decimal scale only, from 1x to 12x more commonly. If the remedy is util or prepared with centesimal scale, it is in the dilution form, it is not in the trituration form. So if even though you have come to the conclusion of a Natramur 6c, it means a 12x according to the material concepts, but actually the energy level is much more there in the Natramur 6c than in Natramur 12x, but both of them have a typical similar content in them. Second important thing is that if you are prescribing Natramur 6x, for what purpose you are prescribing it? If you are prescribing it on the basis of symptom similarity, then it is homeopathic to the case. If you are prescribing on the basis of pathophysiological aspect, it becomes a Sussler's aspect, that is the biochemic aspect of applying it. So there is a difference in understanding. It don't get confused between these two things. Homeopathic medicine, when you apply, it is on the basis of law of similars. It is on the basis of totality of the symptoms. It is on the basis of considering the constitution, considering the miasm, considering the totality, understanding the susceptibility. Then you can choose the remedy in right potency. That becomes a homeopathy. If you are using any biochemic medicines or any medicine which is there in biochemistry or in the homeopathy, but if you are prescribing not on this symptom similarity, but you are using a complete pathophysiological or physiological chemical data for this purpose, for the patient, it becomes a Sussler salt. It becomes a Sussler's aspect of applying the biochemic medicine. So there is lot of difference. So prescribing remedy on a different thought will work in a different manner. So if you are prescribing Natramor 6x, it may act on the both basis. It can act homeopathically. It can act even on the basis of pathophysiological action. But pathophysiological action you can get because you are using semi-dynamic doses. They are not dynamic. So it is not only a stimulus. It is also an ingredient in the molecules is supplied over there. So both things are there, and that's why biochemic medicines generally, when given in before 12x potency, they generally produce it's their mild primary action over there, and which is not possible in case of homeopathic remedies used in 30C or 200C. So the reactions of the human being are rather different to the 6x potency and 30C potency. And concept is that there is no 6x dilution, there is 6C dilution, it is centesimal. So question itself becomes wrong when we think about these dilutions. And if anyone prepares this dilution, I don't know, but it is the pharmacy. Pharmacy explains that if you want to prepare any dilution, that is in the centesimal potency, centesimal scale generally they prepare, never prepares in x or decimal. And decimal and centesimal, if even though if you prepare dilution in decimal, it will act in the similar manner, it will not act in a different manner if it is a dilution prepared in decimal. Okay. There was one more question, that how to use biochemics in kids for normal growth and normal dentitional growth, for prevention of caries in kids. Basically, for the if you are giving biochemic medicines for kids, depending upon requirement you have to provide. For each and every children, you should not prescribe calcareous unless and until if the patient who is there having a good height, good, he is not a patient in fact, and still he wants to increase the height. If he is above normal, there is no need to give the calcareous over there. It depends upon the situation, for what purpose you are giving. And you can give it safely for the children, even from the infants to old age. Only thing is that when you are providing it in infants, you have to mix it with the milk of the mother, or either dilute it in water and give it to the child. Depending, you can give your biochemic medicines even for first day of one day child also, one day infant also. You can give it, mix it with mother's milk and give that medicine, one tablet sufficient for preparing, and you can give it to the infant also. It is safe. You can use for the normal growth. Yes, if you feel that patient is not carrying the health, he is very weak, he is not having the strength, then you might think of a calcareous squash, or if you might think of an atrium muraticum in that child, you give that salt. Repeat that. You can repeat for months also. No problem. It works. Then there is also one more question, that normal growth, normal dentitional growth. Normal dentition generally never requires medicine unless it is delayed. If it is delayed, definitely you can give the remedy. If it is painful, you must give the remedy. If it is associated with concomitants like fever or pain in abdomen or pica or diarrhea, you can think about a remedy and accordingly you can use. There is one combination number 21, biochem combination number 21. It is for teething children. So it's a good combination you can give to the patient for teething troubles or teething troubles means the child might have a diarrhea during teething. Some might get a fever during teething. So such type of conditions you can give these combinations or you can use. There is one more 23 number. It is for toothache. But toothache is different and teething troubles are different. Toothache is actually a toothache. In teething troubles, it is not only teething difficult dentition, along with a concomitant symptoms, fever, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, craving for pica, number of things which happens along with these teething children, teething problems. So 21 number is different and 23 number is different. 23 contains the calcarea fluor, ferrum phos, mac phos. These are the remedies because it covers the dental caries along with the inflammation over there, along with the severe pain, dental neuralgia, with the help of mac phos. So accordingly, you have to think when you are prescribing for this on the basis of these indications. And you can prescribe even in 5 to 10 age group. You can prescribe 4 tablets 3 times a day per month or 4 tablets twice a day. I generally prescribe 4 tablets twice a day in chronics, and in acutes I used to repeat it 3 or 4 times a day. Last question regarding this biochemic which was asked: what should be the dose of calcarea fluor in the treatment of fibroadenoma of the breast? Calcarea fluor generally, whenever you are using it for the fibroadenoma problem, I generally use 6x potency as recommended by the Schussler, and it is repeated twice a day for even for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months I can repeat. So these are the questions which were asked, and on that day one more question which was very interesting and very important for all of you, that you have to understand regarding it. One of the student from Pune, she asked me, sir, if we are giving homeopathic medicine to the patient, it is on the basis of a consideration of a dynamic cause, miasmatic cause, and we are prescribing remedy. Instead of that, if we prescribe only biochemic, does it cure the patient? And I have given the answer to her personally, but it is a good question. Everyone should understand. You have to understand both the concepts before that. If we are considering a patient with homeopathic point of view or with homeopathic angle, we are considering that patient on the basis of totality, on the basis of symptom similarity, on the basis of derangement of the vital force happening to be there at the level of dynamics, and accordingly on the basis of presentation we find it out a remedy or prescribe the remedy. That remedy brings the patient into the reality. Generally all those things happens because of dynamic disturbances of vital force, and the result expresses in the form of signs and symptoms. If you are providing biochemic remedies on the basis of a different principle now, and you are using it in repeated doses, yes, you can revert back those pathologies, those symptoms with the help of biochemics, and in acutes generally you can cure them. Generally in chronics, when the miasmatic focus is there and you are using biochemics, you can remove that condition, but you cannot remove the cause, which is dynamic one. And at that time you might require the similimum, which can cover the deranged vital force at that specific point, and that will prevent the recurrence in the patient. So I generally suggest that when the case is chronic enough, you must think about the similimum on the basis of symptom similarity as a constitutional anti-miasmatic remedy, and along with that you give the homeopathic remedy to hasten the speed of the recovery, so that it will act very fast. The patient's pathology will revert back very fast, and it will, your constitutional will take care of the recurrence of the patient, or it will remove the miasmatic hidden cause over there. So this is very important to understand that how to use the biochemics and biochemic combinations along with the constitutional. So I'm not saying that you only practice with the biochemic or biocombinations. Yes, it is one part of the homeopathy, but one should not miss that part, because we are practicing at a taluka place and people never understand that your medicines will going to work very slowly, or they will cure you after 1 month, 2 months. They require or they expect a result within first 15 days or maximum 1 month. Otherwise, it goes into the OPM state. Doctor, 6 months have been passed and nothing has happened. They comes to you with fear extravagance. They expect a cure very fast, and that's why these biochemic medicines are very essential to hasten the process of a recovery. And for that purpose, I generally say that you must give these remedies to hasten the process in acutes as well as chronics, and you can see the results. Apply it in your practice. First, see, apply. I will going to take all those 26, 28 combinations one by one, out of which few already we have discussed. Today we have discussed number 1 as well as number 5 also we have discussed, that two combination. But this is basically a homework for you, that you must write it down on one side, the name of the combination, then the contents of the combination name, for what purpose it is mentioned, and then write down the combinations, what are the contents of that combination, in which potency. Go through it again and again. Definitely it will get become fixed in your mind, then automatically it reflects, yes, what should be used for that purpose. So this is very important thing one should not forget. So this is a homework for all of you. We'll discuss few more combinations. In short, we'll discuss biocombination number 2. Yes, it is, everyone knows biocombination 2 is for asthma. Now think that what it should contain. What is the ingredient which should be present in that combination? Must content should be natrum sulfuricum, a remedy for asthma. In fact, a miasmatic remedy for the asthma. So it should contain natrum sulfur. What are the rest of the ingredients which are there, and why they might have been added over there? Think, there are Caliphos first 3x potency, then Macphos 6x, Natramur 3x, and Natrum sulf 6x. See, these are very important. You must understand why it is so. Asthma is a condition which is a spasmodic condition where patient is breathless, sometimes with wheezing, sometimes without wheezing, and he is in a state of air hunger. He is continuously doing this. He is frustrated during that time. His action, he is absolutely disturbed. He becomes restless because of that state. The spasm is much more. The muscles goes into the spasms. So he should be calmed down. That is the first important thing. But how he will be calmed down? Unless and until the asthma is settled, unless and until the bronchi becomes little bit relaxed. So natrum sulf will do that work. Along with that, Caliphos plays very vital role to tranquilize that patient. Generally, this patient goes into the phase of restlessness, the anxiety, fear on their face, and that can be settled very easily with the help of a Caliphos which is present over there. Then there is second ingredient, Macphos. This spasm of a respiratory muscles, spasm of bronchi. The spasm can be released with the Macphos, and that's why Macphos is there in the second number. And third more, that is the Natrum muriaticum. Already we have discussed natrum mur and natrum sulf, two remedies we have discussed. Natrum mur, it holds, attracts the water inside the cell. so that if there is an intercellular fluid is there and cells are swollen up and producing congestion inside the lung, natramur will absorb that and natrum self will eliminate that. See, think about it logically. Natramur absorbs that inside the cell. At the same time, the intercellular fluid, which is much more, can be eliminated with the help of a natrum cell, and patient will be released. So, chest congestion can be solved very easily. This concept should be there in your mind. So why all those ingredients are there in number 2, biocombination number 2? So first there is a Kali-phos, then there is a MAC-phos. Both are them necessary for to relieve the spasm as well as the mental restlessness, the fear, the anxiety, which happens to be there because of that spasm. Natramur to hold the water and bring it back into the cells for the purpose of utilization or dividation. Natrum self, for it will act, it will release the spasm. At the same time it will remove the unnecessary water contents, removing the or increasing the elimination process and leaving the removing the congestion of the lung. So in this way, natrum, this second number biocombination is indicated for the purpose of asthma. So we have learned first, we have learned second. Now we'll turn towards the third. Anyone knows what is the third one? Third one is the colic, very important. And everyone knows that if colic is there, which is the inorganic salt. Yes, I know that it is the MAC-phos, which is the commonest salt. Yes, it is there. But along with that, there are number of other inorganic salts. Along with that, there is a calcarea phos, the natrum salt, as well as ferrum phos. See, it is not only MAC-phos which is given. MAC-phos you can prescribe as a separate, but here along with MAC-phos there is a calcarea phos, then the natrum salt and the ferrum phos. Now you think, why all those ingredients? MAC-phos, you know that it is antispasmodic, it removes the spasm. वात येणं आपण जे म्हणतो, पोटामध्ये वात आला, the MAC-phos relieves that spasm. If whatever may be the pain in abdomen, it might be dysmenorrhea, it might be ovarian pain, it might be a colicky pain, it might be because of spasms in the intestine, whatever may be the, basically that spasm can be relieved with the help of a MAC-phos, as well as the neuralgia. If it is neuralgic pain, that can be tackled with the help of a MAC-phos. But why calcarea phos is there? Anyone? Calcarea phos also relieves the spasm. It contains basically calcarea phos. Whenever the infective focus happens there inside the abdomen with enlargement of the mesenteric lymph nodes, calcarea phos plays a very vital role. Generally, in case if a pathology is related with the abdomen, sub-infective focus, or it might be tuberculous focus, producing a spasm inside the abdomen, along with the lymphadenopathy, calcarea phos is very important remedy along with MAC-phos. Then third ingredient is there, natrum sulfuricum. Natrum sulf requires some, in order to eliminate the contents. Eliminative process is made fast with the help of a natrum sulf. And that's why natrum sulf plays its role with that aspect. And last part which is there is the ferrum phosphoricum. If that colic might be a result of the what you can say, the inflammation in the intestine or inflammation in the stomach. So to tackle that first stage of inflammation, the ferrum phosphoricum requires. Congestive stage inside the stomach, that is in the gastric mucosa, or if it is in small intestine or large intestine, where it may be, that can be tackled with the help of a ferrum phosphoricum. So when it has been prepared combination, it is not prepared only with the MAC-phos, but along with the MAC-phos, these ingredients, that is the calcarea phos, the ferrum phosphoricum and natrum sulfuricum are added. So whatever may be the cause behind that colic can be utilized. This combination can be utilized. So think about that. When you understand that patient is having dysmenorrhea, you can give MAC-phos 6x to the patient. But if the patient comes with a acute abdomen, it might be appendicitis. then at that time you should not give MACPHOS. At that time you will require this because it will cover all those things. If patient comes to you with renal calculi or renal colic or ureteric colic, this combination will help a lot because natrum sulf provides elimination, it provides process of elimination more, so there will be a hydrostatic pressure which will be increased because of more urination formation that can lead towards, or it itself has uric acid diathesis that will also take care of the stone. So accordingly, when pathologies are related with the abdominal spasm, think about the biocombination 3 instead of giving just a MACPHOS. So is it clear in your mind that MACPHOS not only is a remedy for pain in abdomen, all those things, this combination can be used in with the infective focus inside the abdomen and quickly create the or remove the patient's condition. So even in tubercular abdomen, think about the biocombination 3. It will hasten the process of recovery in such types of cases. If there is an infective focus inside the abdomen anywhere, think about this biocombination because it contains all those ingredients. So this is biocombination number 3. And now we'll finish last one because 5 already we have discussed. We'll discuss fourth one also because fourth one is essential to understand. Fourth one everyone knows, it is for the purpose of constipation. Constipation whenever comes, which ingredients comes in your mind or which ingredients you think a lot? Yes, I know that you think a lot regarding the Silicea because on that day we have learned Silicea in the last part of pathophysiology. It is a local paralysis producing the constipation in case of Silicea. Yes, Silicea is very important, very important. But along with Silicea, what are other ingredients? You think about the Calcarea fluor in 3x potency, the Calimur in 3x potency, Natramur in 3x potency, and Silicea in 6x potency. Now you understand that why there is a Calcarea fluor. We have learned the pathophysiology of a Calcarea fluor. It is because the muscles of the intestine they become weak and flaccid, and that's why there is no movement of the intestine which happens. We have learned that it is present in the muscular walls, and that muscle wall because of disturbed molecular action it becomes relaxed. At that time naturally it will going to produce less motility of the intestine. So to increase the motility in a proper manner, Calcarea fluor plays very vital role. So constipation is not only covered with silica, it is Calcarea fluor which is needed. Then second ingredient which he mentions over there is the Kali muriaticum. If constipation is the result of some infective focus along with exudate which develops over there as a second stage of inflammation, and because of which it is saturated over there, think about this ingredient Calimur which plays very vital role at that level, absorbs or it removes that inflammatory focus over there and helps to relieve the spasm. So that is another remedy which is added. And last remedy which is there in this combination and which is very important is the Natrum muriaticum. Natrum muriaticum, where it is present, it depends upon that. If it is present, if natrum more is present inside the salt, it holds the water. And if natrum more is more inside the cellular level, it catches the water over there. But if it is there inside the intestine, at the cellular level, at the villi level, if it is holding the water because of disturbance, then there might be a constipation. Here you have to release that. Natramur can clear. Natramur is the element which removes the water from your intestine. It has the capacity to remove. It throws away the water, or whatever is absorbed that can be thrown away in this manner. And in order to stimulate that, or obstructed stool is there, that can be solved with the help of an atropine. So these are four ingredients which are useful in utilizing in specifically for this constipation. So according to the situation, it you have to think. It is not only general constipation and give the four number. You think what is required for the patient. If you think that yes, definitely there is infective focus producing a constipation, think about biocombination 4 and you can relieve that. There you have to understand for what purpose patient is requires the medicine, what type of constipation is there. If you will find it is only a sigmoid colon, the stool is fixed over there, it is not coming out, patient has to remove it mechanically, and it is because of local paralysis over there, you have to give silicia, you have to give whole combination. So you have to understand this concept of applying the biocombination. So in today's lecture we have learned number of queries also, as along with the biocombination: number 1 anemia, number 2 asthma, number 3 colic, number 4 constipation, and number 5 coryza. So make this is homework. Do this homework. Write it down. Make a notebook. Write over there the name, number of combination, name of the combination, contents and potency of those ingredients in organic salts, so that you can think with pros and cons and start using your own logic and apply in your patients depending on their pathology, not directly only on the name. So this thought should be there, developed in you, and if you develop this type of salt, definitely you will apply these biochemics and biocombinations very easily in your practice. So I think this is sufficient, because since last 1 hour I am discussing all those things. It's a big session today. Tomorrow there will be a Zoom session. Dr. Prachi Ambekar, she will going to share regarding her thyroid cases, because she has worked a lot on thyroids. 2 3 magic cases are there which are cured with homeopathy. How, why, everything will be there discussed in tomorrow's session. So be there on Zoom at sharp at 2:30, so that we can learn a lot regarding the thyroid. Second thing, please, please send me what do you feel, what are your queries regarding all those things, so that we can discuss in next 2 3 lectures while learning those combinations, and then we'll turn towards the one of the topic which is asked by students: sir, please discuss regarding the use of mother tinctures in homeopathic practice. But I will not going to turn towards that immediately, unless and until I will finish this complete. After finishing these biocombinations, we will turn towards the mother tincture, because it should be thoroughly understood with each and every student. So thank you very much attending the lecture. Give me a feedback and tell all your friends to subscribe our channel. Go through the videos again and again in order to learn homeopathy. And thanks a lot that you are missing me even on holiday yesterday. So it itself suggests a lot of love from you, and I have shared Miss Kirti, if she is listening, Kirti Bor from Alefata College, and she has drawn one portrait from my just from mobile status. It's a good gift she has given to me. Thank you, the love you are giving me. Thanks a lot, and we'll meet tomorrow at the same time on the Zoom, not on Facebook tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, we'll continue with the Facebook. But tomorrow, Dr. Prachi Ambekar, she will be there along with me to discuss regarding the thyroid cases. So till that, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, and thanks all practitioners who are there in these sessions.